Sin City Sportscast. This is episode 9.
9. Did we ever... Are both those other ones released?
Yeah. Okay. All that stuff's up.
Cool. So, we will be talking about the NFL Week 1. Of course, the exception of the 2 games played tonight. It's Monday, so we got the Broncos and the Raiders going at it, and the Titans and...
Texans
and the Saints.
Yeah.
So, besides that, we'll be covering as much as we can.
Right now on ESPN, it has Denver at -3, and it has the Saints at -6.5. I feel like that Denver line's pretty good odds for the Broncos.
I don't really know lines, so this is you.
Okay, so they're playing in Oakland.
And in New Orleans.
I mean, you're looking at an Oakland team who just lost AB yesterday. So I think that that's kind of throwing off a little bit of their offensive game plan. And you're going to see a very mediocre wide receiver that's sliding over in the depth chart to the wide receiver 1 slot. I don't see them scoring a whole lot of points because you got you're talking about a wide receiver 1 sliding everybody up a position.
Yeah.
That puts a lot of responsibility on everybody who might not be ready for it.
It'll probably be a fairly low-scoring game because I know the Broncos don't really have a lot to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the Broncos' depth chart. I know their quarterback. They just got a new quarterback last season. Oh, God, what's his name? Joe Flacco. That's who it is. Yeah.
Joe Flacco starting?
I don't know. It says.
And Brandon Allen. Whoever that is.
I mean, Joe Flacco had to go somewhere after Lamar Jackson kind of started playing pretty well last season.
And that worked out for him pretty well. Yeah, Joe
Flacco starting for him tonight.
Over Joe Flacco versus Derek Carr.
Yeah. So I would take the Broncos for sure, and the Saints, obviously. I mean, you're going to have big points from the Saints every night that they come out. I don't see the Saints losing game 1, especially if they're New Orleans. There's no way. But to kind of highlight things that have been going on in the last 24 hours to start week 1.
I guess we should start with Thursday probably.
Which is the
Bears-Packers.
Oh, yeah. That was a pretty good game. I expected the Bears to come out a little bit more hot than they did, to be honest.
The fact that the Bears could only produce 3 points, I think...
pretty crazy.
I mean, their quarterback's young. He's inexperienced. He doesn't have a lot.
Mitch Trubisky did not pick up where he left off in the last season.
Well, that's the thing is they didn't really make any moves in the offseason, so...
I mean, they were one of the better playoff teams in the league last year.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that has to do with their defense, which they clearly showcased in this game. I mean, only allowing Aaron Rodgers to get 1 touchdown.
I'll take... I mean, if I'm the Bears head coach... or anybody in their management, I would take a week 1 loss, maybe...
To the Packers?
Yeah, a week 1 loss to the Packers and holding them to 10 points. I mean, that's a good start for sure. Then, you're not lacking on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. Because Aaron Rodgers was throwing the ball and he was making... Yeah. He was connecting
Well, you got to
passes.
remember, Aaron Rodgers also has a whole new system this year. He has a new coach, a new offensive coach. They're still learning a lot, so... I'm not surprised he only threw for 1 touchdown, but I think a lot of that does have to do with the Bears' defense because that's what worked for them last year.
Yeah, for sure.
They picked up Khalil Mack, and then they clearly need to make some offensive improvements if they're going to get back to the playoffs like they did last year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure what they're going to end up doing. I mean, obviously, everybody kind of see how it all goes.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest shock of the day was, or I guess now moving on to yesterday, I think it was really surprising that the Browns got beat 43-13.
Yeah, they got smacked around.
Well, I think it was with 17 minutes left, it was a 2-point game. It was 15-13.
Kind of just like garbage time stuff. I mean, it's not really garbage time.
Baker then proceeded to throw 3 picks in the 4th quarter. So their inexperience and their immaturity definitely showed out yesterday. I read they had 18 penalties with 180 yards. Mm-hmm. You're not going to win the game.
Yeah, for sure.
You won't win a game like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of late formation for the Browns. I mean, I could see them. I kind of want to look at their schedule, to be honest, because if they start winning games late in the season and they catch a win streak going into the playoffs, that's how they're going to be dangerous.
They're favored to win their division for the first time, I think, since 1980-something.
Yeah, but that's you're putting them. The league was putting them as favorites based off of the players they acquired.
Yeah, But
which, I mean,
who's in their division? You have Pittsburgh, who got absolutely worked yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Ravens, who did fairly well. And I forget who the last team is in their division.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure, to be honest. Let me see if I find the standings.
As you can tell, football is clearly the sport we know the
Yeah.
least about.
It's cool learning, though, for sure.
Yeah, no,
like,
definitely.
I definitely like keeping up with it,
I'll
just
be
because it's
excited
something new to do.
Yeah, to kind of follow it for.
Oh yeah, the Browns have the Ravens,
The
Bengals,
Bengals.
and the Steelers.
Yeah. So if we're going just based off yesterday, I would say the Ravens are going to take that. But it's a long season. You got 15 more weeks.
Yeah. Of all the analysis that I was watching on TV, I mean, people are kind of. I mean, they're not overreacting about Lamar Jackson. People were
No.
like coming out saying, "Could he be an MVP candidate this
They
year?"
were saying.
They're like, I mean, everybody thinks that this is kind of like just a good showing out for sure because
Yeah,
he
no.
played great. But
They gave him credit, but they didn't let it explode more than it needed
yeah,
to.
nobody thinks that he's going to be able to keep it up for this season. Which
And you
I
were
mean,
playing the Dolphins. I'm not.
Yeah, but I don't disagree. I mean, I would say I kind of do disagree. I think Lamar Jackson has plenty of potential to be as good as Patrick Mahomes for sure.
100%. And especially the fact that he's kind of a rusher in the sense. Like, I don't think we're ever really.
Lamar
gonna-
Jackson's faster than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And if he can start throwing better with less interceptions, I mean.
And I don't know. I think it was one highlight yesterday I saw that it looks like he barely flicked the ball off his wrist, and that thing flew for 50,
Yeah,
60 yards.
for sure.
And it was on point.
And Tyreek Hill got injured yesterday in the middle of the games,
Yep.
too. So, I mean, we'll see how Patrick Mahomes' season kind of plays out. Because
Yeah.
he was also hurt for, like, he came out of the game for, I think, a couple snaps right when they were in
Yeah.
the red zone because he turned his ankle or something like that. So, hopefully, he's okay. 'Cause I still want to see a good season from him for sure.
But yeah, I think the Browns and Baker and all them, hopefully they can kind of start getting
I want to see them be good.
the ball rolling. Well, yeah, you obviously wish success upon these players because even the players they acquired, OBJ and a few others, they never really had success with their own teams. So I think winning is going to be something that this whole team needs to learn as a collective unit.
Yeah, for sure. I agree to that.
Like we were saying about Lamar Jackson, played incredible against Dolphins with a 59-point outing. I don't know how many I think he got
5 touchdowns.
5? Mm-hmm. That's pretty impressive in a week 1
Yeah, for sure.
showcase.
Yeah. I mean,
Second-year quarterback, first-year starting.
people were coming out and saying that the Dolphins might even go like 0-16 too. Like the Dolphins might be the team to not win a game this season.
Oof.
I don't know if we'll have a team in the league that doesn't win a game. Because the Dolphins beat the
That's
Patriots
saying that-
twice last year, right?
Once.
Once.
So
if the Dolphins can beat the Super Bowl champs, I mean, they can
Okay,
sneak
but
a
to
win
be
out
fair,
throughout
and
the
I'm not
season.
saying this as a Patriots fan, I'm not saying this biased. Every team that beat the Patriots last year missed the playoffs.
Which is fair. I'm not saying as a knock to
Yeah.
the Patriots. I'm just saying people can win on any given day.
The Dolphins beat them on that crazy last-minute drive. I remember
Yeah.
that.
So I think it's an overreaction to say the Dolphins won't win a game. I think they might even win 2, you know. But
I think they'll win a few. I don't think they're going to be a Cleveland Browns repeat.
yeah, I don't know if there's any team
It's
in the
really
league.
hard to lose all 16 games because you
Yeah.
got to remember the Dolphins do play the Patriots do have a big edge with their division. You have yourselves, the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
All teams that usually end under 500.
Yeah. Which
So,
nobody's doubting that.
That might
I mean,
get them a few wins.
The Jets might win a couple more games.
Yeah.
They might be closer to 500 at the end of the season. But we'll see. What are the other games that we kind of wanted to highlight? Like Bills and Jets. I mean, I feel like the Jets. I don't know. The Jets looked like they had control of it for the most game with the Bills getting hot in the fourth quarter and scoring 2 touchdowns. But at the same time, it's like I don't think either of those teams are doing very much this season.
No.
Everybody thought the Jets would be better with Sam Darnold getting older and Le'Veon Bell coming in and their defense getting more
I forgot
mature.
they picked up Le'Veon.
So, I mean, we'll see how Le'Veon makes an impact. I heard he didn't get an extravagant amount of touches in this game, but I mean...
the Bills made the playoffs last year. Let's not forget about that. They
Last
snuck
year?
in. Yeah.
Really?
They snuck in at the very end.
I don't even remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, they lost right away, but the fact that if they can get there again, I don't think they're really going to see a lot of success in the playoffs because you really need depth at that point.
Yeah. Redskins, Eagles.
Redskins almost squeezed out a nice win against the Eagles.
I was watching the vast majority of that game. The Eagles first half versus second half,
Tale
obviously
of two stories.
two totally different teams. Carson Wentz in the first half looked like he was scared, looked like he hadn't thrown the ball in like 6 months. Like,
Well, Carson Wentz has come off almost 2 full seasons of not really being able to play with this team.
yeah,
So you're definitely going to see that for a few weeks. And then Vernon Davis had an incredible
that
touchdown
was
right at the
crazy.
start of the game.
Yeah, one of the things that I specifically saw from the Redskins was their way of covering the Eagles on passes, which was pretty insane, to be honest. The Redskins defense was very much like a lockdown team, but DeJean Jackson is one of the fastest wide receivers in the league still to this day, even in his age. So the 2 touchdowns they scored in the third quarter were both fly routes right up the middle, beating the inside safety and throwing it over the top of DeJean Jackson.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's just him executing a nice route, with 2 flies up the middle, splitting the safety.
And the Redskins really haven't had a lot of success over the last few years, but only losing by 5 in week 1 to...
And
2 years ago, the Eagles were Super
Yeah.
Bowl champs.
I definitely think the Redskins can win some games this season if they play the way they did and just, be consistent going into the third and fourth quarter and don't get tired.
And then
we'll see how that goes. Rams and the Panthers, that was a good game. I think the Rams, obviously, in the first quarter were just getting their feet wet. They hadn't played football in a long time, losing the Super Bowl last year.
The Super Bowl last year, we didn't see a whole lot of offense, so it doesn't surprise me that it took them a little to get going.
Yeah, they had to wake up for sure. So moving on to the next games, Chiefs and Jaguars. I didn't watch a whole lot of this game, kind of off and on with this one. Leonard Fournette, he's obviously a great running back. I think if the Jaguars' offensive line can create enough space for him and they're getting him the right touches against the right team, he can definitely be going off for sure.
Watkins had a really good game as well for the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill going out. Patrick Mahomes is an incredible offensive unit, but that team's defense needs to get it together or they're not going to make it out of the AFC.
If you let a rookie quarterback, because Nick Foles is injured, you have
Nick
a
Foles
rookie
went out
quarterback
very
scoring
early.
26 points against the Chiefs, who are supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team.
They were a coin flip away from the Super Bowl last year.
I don't understand what on the Chiefs' defensive aspect you guys are doing to let a rookie quarterback who nobody's ever heard of, not like a lottery draft pick or anything like that, come in and score 26 points on your team.
Well, that was the tale last year for the Chiefs, and that's going to be the tale again this year. You guys have the number 1 offense last year. You'll have it again this year. Yeah. But if your defense isn't there, you're going to get worked as soon as the playoffs come around.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, one game I didn't watch was the Colts-Chargers. I didn't pay attention to any of that. Going into the season, there was a lot of drama with the Chargers and whether Melvin Gordon would come out, signing a contract and playing for them this season. Colts, the Andrew Luck story to start off the season,
definitely
that's
hurt
always
them.
Crazy. I have, what's his name, Marlon Mack. I think that's his name. I have him on my fantasy team. Didn't start him, obviously. Big regrets there. He had a pretty decent game compared to my other players that I had.
24 points in your first, I would say, big start from Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I think Jacoby Brissett would be a good quarterback.
Phil Rivers and the Chargers are no joke. They had a good season last year.
People
Phil Rivers
sleep
is a
on
very
the Chargers
good quarterback.
for sure.
So I think that's good for the Colts. Obviously, you definitely wanted to squeeze out a win. Wasn't possible.
Yeah.
But
Philip Rivers is going to go down as one of those quarterbacks that every season, was always performing well. He never really had seasons that he was throwing a high quantity of picks. Like, he's a very consistently solid quarterback, but he'll never make the Hall of Fame.
Well,
He will never be able.
Really?
I don't know. I've had this discussion with other people that he might make it, but it's like he's always going to be overshadowed by really good players like Tom Brady.
This
Drew
the thing
Brees.
is, I was just going to say, I think he's a very good quarterback, but the time that he played in the league was you have Tom Brady, who I believe, no bias, not being a Patriots fan, is a great quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
You have Drew Brees, who's incredible. You have Aaron Rodgers, who's
even to
so
start
many
off,
great
Philip
names.
Rivers' career was like Donovan McNabb was still playing.
Yeah,
in the
no,
league, right?
You played with so many other elite quarterbacks that your name never quite got that jump.
And that's what I'm saying is that.
But I think he'll make the Hall of Fame.
When you have these other quarterbacks that are in the league, if Philip Rivers can't hang with these guys like Russell Wilson over the last couple of years, you're like, sure, he's a great quarterback, and he's the quarterback you need on a team, but there's a difference between the level he's playing at and then the level where other guys are playing at.
Yeah.
And the goals that they're accomplishing. You know, Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers doesn't.
Fair.
Russell Wilson has several MVP campaigns.
But do you
Phillip
think
Rivers doesn't?
Do you think Russell Wilson had better pieces to work with than
No.
Phillip Rivers over a longevity?
Defensively, maybe only when there was a Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
But
I think that
prior to
defense
that,
helped
or
Russ a
after
lot.
that, I think the Chargers have always had a better defense than the Seahawks, besides the Super Bowl winning seasons. For
And you
sure.
do got to remember the Chargers did have LaDainian Tomlinson for a long time.
I mean, that guy was my favorite running
but
back
that's
in
the
the
thing
league
is
next to Sean
the
Alexander.
Chargers used to have amazing regular seasons, make it to the playoffs, have a great run, and then they would hit the Patriots.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
there's really not much you can do against that team.
I mean, and now even in their division, there are other teams that are still coming out hot. Okay, so Bengals and Seahawks. I'm a Seahawks fan. I didn't have a lot of expectations for the Seahawks going into the season.
Well,
at all,
I don't think the Seahawks are ever going to get back to that Legion of Boom.
I
like
mean,
we were
I
just
definitely
saying.
think that we could. Like,
I
we're
don't
not.
think
The thing is,
so.
we're not far off. If you looked at our defense yesterday, I mean, they had a couple trick plays. They had a flea flicker that they had that went for like I think it was a touchdown or like a 70-yard gain or something like that. I mean,
But
they're a couple plays away from.
what I
from
would
winning
say,
that game.
not far off in the NFL today, with so many incredible teams always improving, is enough
To hold you back.
to hold you back and
Yeah.
not get you there.
For sure. I do think that Pete Carroll leaving in the next few years is something that's pretty
Yeah, I
likely
don't think
to
they're
happen.
there until Pete Carroll leaves.
Yeah, for sure. I can agree with that.
I think Russell Wilson still has it in him 100%,
Oh, he'll have it in him for years to come,
but
for sure.
I think Pete Carroll really hindered their progression. And I mean, he was the one that made the call that lost them that Super Bowl against New England.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting, next couple seasons for the Seahawks. I don't really expect much out of them for this year. I mean, people think that they're still winning the division, which
Yeah, I could see them being a playoff team, but a early exit. playoff team.
absolutely. And I'll be happy even if they just make the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
It'll
Well, they
be
made the
interesting.
playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, they play in a division with. No, you just scrolled by it.
Yeah.
No, NFC, bro.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
They play in a division with the Niners, who we haven't really seen a lot of success from. The Cardinals, who we haven't seen a lot of success from. And the Rams, who obviously made it to the Super Bowl last year, but it was kind of like the Rams exploded last year with offense, I felt like.
Yeah, I mean everybody knew that they were just probably the hottest team in the league, and they were just Sean McVay was calling the right plays, their offensive coordinators, their defensive coordinators. I mean, I guess they weren't really stopping people on defensive end as much as
Yeah.
they should have been, especially once they got into the playoffs.
Like that, let's take a look at that Rams-Chiefs game last year. That I think the final score was
48-45.
something
like that. Yeah.
insane that shouldn't be a football score.
Yeah, definitely.
Cowboys came out on fire yesterday. Dak and Zeke got it done against Giants.
I
Now,
mean, like,
did Eli start yesterday? That I don't know.
yeah.
17 points from the Giants without Odell
I mean, the
impresses
first
me.
the game started with Saquon obliterating the Dallas defense for the entire first quarter.
Saquon's incredible.
So
Saquon's going to be the face of the league in a few years.
it'll be interesting to see how the Giants can develop him for sure. I still don't think that they're winning many games. I think
Oh,
they're going to be
no.
a Dolphins team this year
We
with a
got to
guy
remember,
who's
they
really
had
good.
OBJ the last several years, and they still weren't winning.
I
you
mean,
had an amazing receiver and an amazing runner.
But I don't even put that on Eli, as much as people do. I mean,
I don't put it on Eli, but it's Eli's time.
Yeah, for sure. I think
you need to realize, like Peyton in the last few years wasn't great.
yeah, but
That
the thing
Super Bowl he
is-
won was.
Yeah,
I got enough to say about that, but
I don't know, man. The Giants are kind of just a really
the Giants are weird.
they're very
a
up in
weird
the air
group.
for how their
Yeah.
future is going to turn out. Cowboys, on the other hand, I mean, they got their stars. I mean, Amari signed, Zeke signed, and what I
But
heard
now they need to sign Dak.
what I heard was interesting was if you're Dak Prescott in this situation with this team currently, you have the best option, okay, with Zeke signing a massive contract, the highest paid running back in the league right now. He should wait out the season before he resigns because
See how this year plays out.
exactly. So people were saying like if they're a Super Bowl contending team, and he wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the league, then you go out, you play on a rookie contract, and you win a Super Bowl, and then you get signed for
You
5
get
or
paid
6 years to be the highest paid quarterback ever. You top off Russell Wilson, what he just got this year, and you just blow him out of the water by winning the Super Bowl this year.
But did they pick up Amari Cooper this offseason or the offseason previous?
Late last year before the trade deadline, because he played in the wild card game where they they lost to the Eagles or beat the Eagles.
So,
whatever happened with that, I forget.
Yeah, they didn't make a lot of moves, but I think that'll definitely help their progression.
If Dak comes out and just hammers the league out,
Dak's got to be on.
Yeah, for sure. I don't like the Cowboys, but I mean,
me neither.
They have potential to where if everybody's hitting and everybody's playing top football, I mean, they can win.
Lions and Cardinals tied at 27 apiece. I did not see much.
Didn't watch any of that.
Kyler Murray, I didn't really see. Can we get his stats up real quick?
It says Murray gets hot in the second half. All right, let me go to the box score,
look,
actually.
they got 18 points in the third quarter. So that could have been a...
Kyler Murray was 29 for 54.
Holy crap.
That's a lot of passes.
That's a lot of passes.
Matthew Stafford is one of the highest passing per game quarterbacks in the league,
45.
and he only had 45.
He threw for 300, but you got to remember his...
I mean, he got sacked 5 times, too.
He threw all game, it looks like.
And his QB rating was half of Matthew Stafford's, who had... I mean, he was 27 for 45, Matthew Stafford, 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and 3 sacks.
No, 0 picks.
Or 0 picks. And...
Kyler Murray, 29-54.
Pause that video.
308 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a
I don't
pick.
understand how you give him such a low quarterback rating, though, to be honest. I mean...
Probably because he got sacked 5 times.
Yeah...
That's you as a quarterback.
Yeah, I guess.
They only rush for. I mean, I guess it's not really a big difference. Detroit rushed for 116 yards. Arizona rushed for 112. So it was definitely a very pass-heavy game.
Yeah. I would like to see Kyler Murray be very successful as a quarterback in the league, but I just
something about him, I don't think he's going to get there, and I
don't know.
I'm one of those people that really firmly believe he should have gone baseball for the longevity.
I want to watch a game where he plays, and I want to watch the whole game just to see how he goes through the motions and everything like that.
I want to see him play a good team.
49ers and Buccaneers, I heard.
Jimmy G, we finally saw something big from him because he really hasn't done a lot in the Niners.
Plus the Buccaneers are
jersey.
also not
the Bucs are not a great team, so I'm not surprised that they got the dub.
I mean, they've had so much potential. They had Doug Martin, whatever his name was, their running back, who was one of the best running backs in the league, and then he gets injured and then suspended, and I don't even know if he's still on the team. I think he's like a third stringer now.
Very interesting several years.
I mean, Jameis Winston has the potential to be a decent quarterback, but it's like Cam Newton. It's a hit or miss every single game.
And he's mid-class.
Mike Evans is a little bit overrated for what he is right now, to be honest. I mean, he's like a top 5 fantasy receiver in the league, and I think that's super overrated for what he is. Steelers and Patriots.
And then the game to end the night, New England
killed.
You raise your 6th banner at home to the only other team that has 6 banners.
And then you kill them.
You just had all that drama go down the other day. Mm-hmm. You had a lot of injuries and such in preseason, but the Patriots killed them.
Yeah, big game for sure.
Killed them last night, 33-3. Big Ben doesn't even get a touchdown.
Yeah, like you said earlier, I don't see how the Patriots don't go like 16-2 or 14-2. Yeah,
is what I would say. The Patriots don't play a playoff team until week 9, which is the Ravens, who have a young quarterback. They play the Browns week 8, so we'll see how that turns out. But I mean, Tom Brady doing what Tom Brady does. I think
Bill Belichick doing what Bill Belichick does.
I think he was
pick apart defenses.
Tom Brady was over 500 on his passes, 3 touchdowns, 300+ yards. Oldest quarterback to ever do it.
I mean, it's just like normal numbers for Brady.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is it's just another week for the Patriots.
That's like saying like if LeBron averages a triple double, you're like, yeah, that's pretty.
But
typical.
I will say I think this game showed us more of the dysfunction that's going to happen in Pittsburgh this year versus New England.
For
because
sure.
you got to remember Pittsburgh just lost Antonio Brown, they lost Le'Veon Bell, Big Ben's only getting older. you are going to see Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is going to crumble this year.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's going to happen, this is going to be the year.
I mean, what's his name? James Conner. I mean, he'll be, he'll put in his work and whatever, and he'll be a decent running back. I don't know.
But I think Mike Tomlin and Big Ben's time has come to a close. I think Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell were kind of the
only thing holding
the
them
chapter
together.
closing on that book.
Yeah, those two players were the only thing holding that team together for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, specifically AB. I mean, do you have Juju on that team? But I don't. Juju's no wide receiver one on any team in the league.
Can I get Big Ben stats for that? Because I actually slept through this game and woke up to the. So Big Ben was 27 for 47 with 276 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a pick.
And
Tom Brady
only threw the ball 36
for 36, 300. So he threw the ball 11 less times than Ben.
Yeah.
Had
three
three
touchdowns.
less. Three
Yeah.
less completions.
Yeah.
And threw for 350 yards with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks. Plus, you only sacked Tom Brady once. I don't care who you are. You're going to get worked the whole game. If you don't, that's the only way you can get to New England is if you get him frazzled.
Yeah.
You get Tom Brady frazzled and you keep knocking him down, we're just not going to be able to do what we do.
Yeah, that's kind of been a narrative throughout Brady playing, though, is that like...
No, and that's Brady's weakness. If he gets frazzled or if he gets worked a little too much, that's when we start to fall apart.
It's not even the pass rush. It's
No.
like the pass rush he can handle, but if you get some sacks and then you keep bringing the pass rush, and like it's him personally.
The O-line's been the biggest issue New England's faced, I would say, throughout Brady's whole career. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be most of football.
NBA news.
Nothing really is happening.
Yeah.
Season is, I think, preseason starts October 3rd. Regular season starts October 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
So we're less than a month away from basketball, which is great to say.
Same with NHL.
NHL,
sure.
yeah, I believe NHL starts right before the NBA, and then, I mean,
like a week before.
You got playoff baseball right around the corner too.
Yeah.
So sports is about to be in its prime for those few
Shit's
weeks
about to
that
hit the
all
fan.
4 are happening.
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, no. So there's definitely gonna be a lot to catch up on, a lot to talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode.
We'll cover. We'll probably put out an episode next week, probably after the next round of games for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely try and expect us to put out at least one video at the end of each football week just to kind of
recap everything that's been going on.
Especially when that's
our
the main
opinions
sport
of
going
it.
on.
Yeah, we can post some like. I don't know. Divisional standings based off of week 1 kind of seems like a lot.
Yeah,
so
we'll definitely wait a few
bit.
weeks.
Yeah.
See, because I mean injuries too.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the NFL. But thank you guys for watching. Check out the Instagram, SoundCloud, all that.
Absolutely.